I'm here with the Derek Woods Band, an awesome band from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're an international award-winning rock band, and I'm just so excited to see them and to be able to interview them. The first time I saw them, he kind of reminded me, because he had glasses on, of what's it from, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but the Johnny Depp version. And he also reminds me of Bob Dylan meets Neil Young, which is really a huge compliment. I love Neil Young so much. So how you doing today, brother?
Great. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm so blessed to be here. So all the people want to know, how long have you been growing your hair for?
Growing my hair?
Yeah.
A long time now. I've always had kind of wild hair, and the hat keeps it all in place.
It's really cool. It's
Nothing
really
too
awesome,
wild.
dude. So what's your role in the band and how did the band get started?
So I'm Derek Woods, the Derek Woods Band, and so I play guitar, I sing, I'm the front man, and I'm the songwriter. The band now has been together for 12 years.
What is your songwriting process? How do you go about writing a song?
There's a lot of different ways I go about it. It really depends. They come about different ways. Sometimes I'll think of a couple different lines and I'll just add it to my phone. It's kind of like the modern version of carrying around a notebook and writing down lines. Sometimes I'll have a melody in my head and I'll just do like a voice memo in my phone. That's one way. Then I'll come back to it a little later, and usually during a certain period of time, the memos that are right next to each other kind of line up with what maybe I was going through at that time. At other times, there's been times that I can sit down and I'll write a guitar riff and write the song right there as I'm sitting there. So there's been a lot of different ways. Sometimes the lyrics come first, sometimes the music comes first.
So there's a really
But
famous musician who's named Post Malone, and he said that he writes all his songs while he's going number two. Have you ever written a song when you're going to the bathroom?
you never know whenever you hear a catchy melody in your head.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy
gotta
that he
hurry up
writes
and
them
write
all.
it down.
So now I really want to get into something, and I'm so excited to talk about this. You're friends with Fred Mascherino?
Yes.
How did you
Great
get
guy.
to know him? He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in the music industry. He goes out of his way to try to talk to everybody.
Yeah, and I watched your interview with him. He's a great guy. So we are both from Pennsylvania originally, and so we were recording this new album, and we had a couple of ideas of different guests that we'd like to have on the album, and I reached out to him, and he was totally down to do it. And I sent him some demos, and we went and recorded the track, sent it to him. He recorded his part, his guitar and his vocals for it, the song "Delight." And then the summer directly after that, so this was last year, this was before the song was even out yet. We put on a big music festival every July, actually in Pennsylvania, called Jam Bruzel. And we had his group, The Color Fred, come and play it.
That's
And so
amazing.
before the song even came out on our album and for the release, we actually kind of debuted it live. And
Oh,
he came
no
on
way. That's so
stage
cool.
with us. Yeah. He
What
came
was
out
your
on stage with us and we did it. And
what was your first impression of meeting Fred? Did you ever get to go to his studio? He has a really awesome music studio.
I have not been to a studio, but I've seen tons of different videos from it, and I've heard of a lot of music that has come out of it, and it's top
Are you
notch.
are you are you signed to a record label yet? Fred has a
We
record label.
are we are currently completely independent.
You got to get on Fred's record label. He's looking for people.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
really cool.
I love all the groups that he has on there. Yeah, as of right now, we have remained independent, and it's for a lot of different reasons. We hustle very hard with our group, and we just have a certain work structure that we have with everything, and Sometimes it's best not to mess with that.
So you guys have a song called "Nothing Rhymes with Orange," and there's a really famous interview with Fred, with Eminem, where he says, "I get really angry when people say nothing rhymes with orange because if you add more than one syllable, then things do rhyme with orange. But if you take it at face value, nothing rhymes with orange." How did you write that song, and do you truly think that nothing rhymes with an orange?
Did he say something that actually rhymed with orange?
Yeah, he said like door hinge on the
Yeah.
door hinge, something like that. He said
Uh,
orange door hinge on the four
yeah.
inch, something like that. I can't really remember what he said, but he said, I get really angry when people say nothing rhymes with orange. How did you write that song? And do you truly think nothing rhymes with orange? Let's settle this right now.
I think you could twist it right to find something that actually does work with that. But a lot of our song titles are things that we like joke about or
That's awesome,
little
dude.
like sayings that we say to each other. But yeah, that's I actually saw that interview. Yeah, I think you can twist it to make it work.
So being on the same topic of your songs, you have a song called Happiness. What is the key to happiness?
Being with surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded and that push you forward rather than negative energy that brings you down and sucks that happiness out of you.
Exactly, I agree. So you have another song that's called "You Gotta Serve Somebody," and that's a very big Bible theme. Could you please talk about that? Are you a Christian?
So that is a song that was originally written by Bob Dylan, and we
Oh, wow.
we do not usually record cover songs, but that was a song that we really enjoyed, and we started performing it a little bit live and put our own twist on it. Any cover songs that we've done through the years, we don't do it exactly how it originally was. We put our own twist on everything. So
What
it it was a song that we thought we had a pretty cool version of it, and we wanted to include it on that recording.
What's really interesting about Bob Dylan is I don't even know if he's a Christian or not, but he came out with a full Christian album, and then eventually he kind of said, "Never mind, I don't stand by that Christian album anymore." But now he has a full Christian album, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, so he has a lot of different eras. He's Jewish, but then he was born again.
Oh, that's awesome! That's so cool,
Yeah,
dude.
he was born
That's one of
again,
my
and
favorite things in the world.
yeah, then he had a Christian album. And he's actually released it. There was a whole era that he released a couple Christian albums. But I mean, he's had a lot of different eras. A couple years back, he recorded I think it was 3 albums of Frank Sinatra songs.
Oh,
So
Frank Sinatra is great,
so
but
you
I
never
couldn't
know.
imagine Bob Dylan singing Frank Sinatra. I just
Yeah,
don't think it would fit right.
yeah, yeah. You never know what you're going to get with him. But yeah, that there was a lot of great songs on those albums, and "Gotta Serve Somebody" was one that really we really liked the version that we put together for that and recorded it.
Why do you think that Joni Mitchell dislikes Bob Dylan so much? Because Joni Mitchell's an awesome artist, but she came out with like an interview saying, "Oh, Bob Dylan just steals all his songs." But she has a really awesome video actually playing guitar with Bob Dylan, so I don't know why she would bash him. But I love Joni Mitchell. She's one of my favorite musicians. Do you like Joni Mitchell?
I do a lot. She's an incredible writer. I think they both were out around the same time, and I don't know the exact answer, but I think Joni Mitchell saw Dylan. I mean, she's very accomplished, but I
She's
think she
very
saw
accomplished, yeah.
saw Dylan doing certain things that like, oh, I can do that, and he was
Yeah.
getting a lot of praise. So I
That's usually
maybe
how it
that
is in Hollywood. Anything you can do, I can do better.
exactly, yeah, and I think there might have been. I mean, I think they're friends, but I think I don't know if they still are. I'm sure they are, but I think there might have been some like friendly competition maybe.
Definitely. So there's a really famous YouTuber named Rick Beato. Have you heard of him?
I haven't.
He's a really awesome YouTuber who makes content with like all about music, and he has a really good series called "What Makes This Song Great." And the reason I bring him up is that he got to have a dinner with Joni Mitchell, and he got to tell the story about having a dinner with Joni Mitchell. If you could have dinner with anybody alive right now, any musician, who would it be and why?
Boy, huh? That is really difficult. I mean, it's funny. We were just talking about Bob Dylan. He is definitely a huge influence on me. Same with you said Neil Young earlier.
Neil Young's amazing, dude. I love
Same
him
as
so
him.
much.
Both of them are really big. In my eyes, that I think that would be incredible.
My
Uh,
favorite guitar player besides you is probably Joe Satriani.
oh man. Well, thank you. That's really putting it up there. I appreciate that.
I'm just joking. I like your music, but I wouldn't say you're my. I'd say that Fred Mascherino actually is in my top three favorite guitar players.
He's
I'm not just
incredible.
saying
Yeah.
that. So now we're gonna
He
go into
he
the
is
top.
incredible.
So now we're gonna go into the top 10 things you didn't know about the Derek Rose Band. Could you please tell everyone what your favorite cartoon was as a kid?
Which tune?
Your favorite. What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
Cartoon. My favorite cartoon as a kid. Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, I would always watch the Saturday morning cartoons. I'm trying to think of a good
Did you
one.
watch? Did you watch Space Ghost?
I did. I love Space Ghost.
Space. But I like the Coast to Coast, the weird one that was on Adult Swim, the later one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you never answered the question. What was your favorite cartoon?
So I watched a lot of the Saturday morning cartoons, like old cartoons. I liked a lot of those.
He-Man.
I'm sorry.
I
Say
think
that again.
He-Man. I think He-Man was Saturday morning, wasn't it? He-Man.
He-Man. I loved Captain Planet.
Captain Planet's really good.
Yeah, I
So,
loved all the like Ninja Turtles, like the original
oh, the original
Teenage
Ninja
Mutant
Turtles is
Turtles.
awesome. That the
Yeah,
voice act. I forget which one he voices, but there's a voice actor who does like so many Nickelodeon shows. Like he does like characters on Jimmy Neutron.
yeah.
He does the Animaniacs. You know the Animaniacs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good show. So, what was the first car that your band bought to tour in, or do you guys tour separately?
so so we currently drive in a van, but I before this group, I had a 1977 Shasta RV that we
What? That's
drove
awesome,
around.
dude.
Yeah, we took it on some different tours. It made its last run. It made it from Detroit down to Orlando, and then back to Pennsylvania, and it was done after that.
Oh, it was done after that. That's crazy. So you were you guys all? How did you sleep? Were you guys all sleeping in like the same van?
Yeah, so it actually had a lot of sleeping area. We took the bathroom out of it and we put all our equipment in there. And then like we had a little dining table and it folded down into a bed. We had a couple different. There's a couch in it. There was up above the driver's seats. There was beds up there. So there was multiple different areas to sleep.
There's a pretty famous band called Sleeping with Sirens, and they had a 12 passenger
Yeah,
van. They had a 12 passenger van, and they took the 12 passenger van and put like I don't know what you would call it, like insulin or styrofoam, and put it on top, put it on like in the middle of the van, so that when they slept in it,
yeah.
they had styrofoam on the bottom, styrofoam on the top, and they'd put fans so that they'd be really cool when they were touring in the heat.
Yeah, I've seen all different types of setups. Like I've had 12, 15 passenger vans as well. And like you just there's so many different ways you can get creative with that, especially if you're on the road a lot and you want to
You
stay
seem
in
like you might have known.
hotels.
You seem like you might have known Sleeping with Sirens. Do you know them?
Yeah, so I met them, a few times. I was living in Los Angeles for a
Oh,
number
okay.
of years, and they were kind of like in the same circle that I ran with.
Because Fred played a show with them, and I'm like, I don't even like Sleeping with Sirens that much, but I told him they're super famous. He's like, yeah, I've never heard of them, which is
Yeah.
kind of funny. So, what got you into music, and did you always know that you were going to be a musician?
Yeah, I mean, since I was young, I was playing music as a really little kid. My brother and I would harmonize with my dad, and he would teach us about harmonies and like kind of like the row your boat, row your boat, and like doing different vocal type stuff. My dad's a musician as well. We have a very musical family. music and art runs through our whole family.
So
So,
you guys weren't like the Donny Osmond band? Darn, you didn't start a whole family band?
well, I do have a family band as well with my
Oh,
dad.
no way.
But
What? I gotta hear it.
yeah, we have a
Hopefully,
family band. It's kind of like blues rock.
oh, I was hoping it was like a family death metal band. Your dad does the
That'd be
screaming,
incredible.
your mom does the drumming. That'd be crazy.
That'd be incredible.
I've never heard of a whole family death metal band. I did see on America's Got Talent these little kids that came in and did death metal.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. But that's the closest thing you're ever going to get to like a full actual family.
Yeah.
So what's
But
your
yeah,
opinion?
I started at young age, very young. Music was always around. A lot of great influences for what became. I started performing on stage. I was 12 years old when I first played on stage, and soon after that, and that was just me solo. And then soon after that, I was interested in starting bands and writing songs, and just trying to convince other people my age to learn an instrument. And, I was the one trying to drive everyone to do it.
You'd be like, play the bass for the love of God, man.
Yeah.
There's actually a really famous band that you've definitely heard of called My Chemical Romance, and the bass player said the first time he joined the band, that was the first time he ever played bass.
Really?
Yeah, and now they're like one of the most famous emo bands you can find.
Yep.
So what is your opinion of Adam Sandler?
I am an Adam Sandler fan.
What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? We want to know.
Well, I do like his old ones, Billy Madison.
Billy Madison, that's the best one by far.
Yeah, that's so good. Not too long ago I did watch The Waterboy.
Oh, The Waterboy is really good. Do you remember?
Nice
do you remember Do you remember the dog story in Billy Madison? You gotta go out and you gotta find that freaking dog.
Yeah.
I think he actually says the F word, but I took it PG. Okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Ooh. I would think maybe like being able to predict the future.
That'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
I think being able to teleport, because then I could be with you in person and not have to do it through Zoom.
That'd be awesome.
But then teleportation would be used for a lot. It'd be used for a lot of bad things. Yeah, I would definitely hug you. Actually, the first church I went to, there was a woman called the Hugging Lady, and I don't think anyone could give a hug quite like her. She'd walk up to everybody in the whole church and just give a big hug. And we called her the Hugging Lady. She was awesome. And no matter what was going on, even if you were having a bad day, she'd come and brighten your day and say, "I'm hugging you no matter what, even if you're crabby." Then one day I felt kind of bad. One day I felt kind of bad because I came to church and she said, "Oh, I'm actually sick today. Don't hug me." And I'm like, "I'm hugging you anyways."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
I'm a big hugger. Of course the pandemic and everything kind of changed that a little bit. But
somebody actually told me that during the pandemic they're going to give me a hug, which is like an air hug from across the room like this.
Oh yeah.
So are you married?
I am.
Oh, okay. How long have you been married for?
9 years.
Is there any advice you can give to people that are maybe rock and roll wives that miss their husbands and maybe can shed some light on how you have a successful marriage when you're touring in a band?
Yeah, it takes a very special type of person to be able to, I guess, kind of understand the lifestyle of a professional musician, because there's a lot of, what you could think it is that we do, with a professional musician. It's just like any other job, and whenever, I'm gone, I'm working, and whenever I'm home, I, love my family hard. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because actually, Fred Mascherino, he has a song called Right Eye Left. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes he would question, is it the right decision that I left? Did you ever feel that way when you were going on tour? Like, do you have any small children?
I do. Yeah. It's of course it's, it's hard being away. And of course, with this alternative lifestyle of being a touring musician. You miss opportunities sometimes, but I do my best to. It's all about balance, honestly. It's about the balance, and you know, my whole family understands that. This is what I do, and this is my work, and uh, it's just a different lifestyle. I don't go to an office and work 9 to 5.
So you are a
I'm
paid
here.
musician that actually makes you a full living off it?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
but
that's
I
amazing,
mean,
dude.
there are
Congratulations.
office hours, that I have to, uh, you know, we're home now this week before we leave for New York, and so I'm spending like the daytime doing almost like the office work, where we're working on a bunch of different stuff behind the scenes.
Hopefully you don't consider this office work.
No, no, this is a joy.
So what's your opinion of being an independent contractor? For me, I'm also an independent contractor, and I get a lot of video jobs where people pay me different amounts, and that can be a double-edged sword because you get all the money up at once, but then at the end, when you pay your taxes, you have to remember every mile you drove, every bite of food you ate. It's kind of daunting. So, what is your opinion of being an independent contractor? Do you enjoy it?
Um, for the most part, I do. There's definitely been moments where I'm like ready to have someone kind of take a little bit of the load off, but for the most part, like all of this, I'm very hands on with uh how I do everything and how the way we do stuff. And
So, do you have a
like
financial guy?
as I was saying earlier, we hustle really hard, and like I have worked for a record label, and I've had a lot of different like training and different things in the industry that I kind of learned a lot of the behind the scenes to be able to do wear a lot of different hats and be able to do the different jobs.
So have you seen Fred Mascherino's other band called Say Anything? Have you seen them live yet?
I actually just so I've known Say Anything their music for a very long time.
Same, same.
Um, but I actually happened to be in town, and when he came to Pittsburgh,
Oh, that's
um,
awesome, dude.
and I was able to run out there and see him. So
Did
that
you
was
get to
really
meet
cool.
them or was he too busy?
I've never met Say Anything, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I was able to go and check out their show. It was really great. They put
Max,
on killer show.
he's a genius. He's a genius. The lead singer's a genius. That's all
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah,
say. Because he has bipolar disorder. There's a long story behind it. But because he has those mood swings, sometimes he writes the best songs, and other times you have those lows, which
yeah.
makes it very difficult. So what? So this is going to be the last few questions that I want to ask you for to keep to be a good steward of your time. So what is one thing that sets you apart from other bands that are similar to you, and why should people check you out and come to your shows?
Well, so we reinvent our songs a lot, and I think we can say yes, we're this genre or we're this genre, but we since the band even started, we've always been a type of band that kind of skims across a lot of different genres of music. So we can do a song that's rock and roll or has like a little bit more like blues undertones, but then we can do a song with like Fred that's like more heartfelt. It's got like a little bit of different, completely different genre. So we I think appeal to a lot of different audiences. When it comes to live show, we reinvent the songs a lot. So they're a little bit different than the recording even. And they're always energetic live shows and gets people dancing. We hear a lot, people saying that the shows are fun. They're
That's
fun. They have people dancing. People are smiling and having fun.
I want to take it back a little bit because I just thought of a really good question. What's your opinion of Jackson Brown?
I love Jackson Brown.
Have you
Great
ever
song.
met him?
No, I wish.
I wish I could meet. He'd be a dream interview. He seems like he'd be one of the nicest people you can meet. He has a song called "The Rebel Jesus."
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just he's just an overall amazing guy.
He's a great songwriter. Really
So
great.
he's a really awesome dude. I love his
Yeah.
music so much. Him and Joni Mitchell, and I think what's his name, James Taylor. Do you like James Taylor?
Oh, I love James Taylor.
He's so good. He's super
Well,
patriotic recently.
I hope you get to interview him someday.
That'd be awesome.
You
That'd be a dream
you
come
can make
true.
it happen. You can make it happen.
Yeah, I'll just keep knocking on the door. I'm actually interviewing three voice actors coming up soon that are from a TV show called Ed, Ed and Eddie. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I reached out to them and they said, we'd love to have you interview us. So I said, yes, but they're all in
That's
Canada,
so
so we're doing
cool.
it through Zoom.
I should have said that was my favorite cartoon as a
Yeah, you
kid.
should have. You blew it, man. You blew it.
My favorite cartoon as a kid.
I might cut this part out because I want it to be a secret, but I'm also going to California in September to interview the guy who created the Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh man.
Yeah, so God's been
So
opening the door in some pretty cool
funny.
places.
My son is really into that show right now, and
Dude,
has
I
been.
can't believe how many people are coming out of the woodworks and telling me that.
Yeah, so I have heard that theme song all
Do
day
do do
today.
do 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 do. Ah, no more, make it stop for the love of God, man. What's crazy about the guy who created that show is he's actually a pastor and he preaches in a park in near Calabasas. So I'm gonna go to his church and then we're gonna go to his studio.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. He's a really awesome dude. So could you please tell everyone about your up and coming shows and music and how they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So our next show is this coming week. We are performing in Bethel, New York. This is for the 55th anniversary of Woodstock, and that's actually on the grounds where
Cool.
everything happened. So we're really excited for that. That's going to be a super cool time.
There's a really famous story that Jimi Hendrix would cut like a slight hole in his head, and he'd take his bandana and put acid on his bandana and put it around his head, and then it would drip into his eyes and he'd get high off it. Do you think that's actually true?
I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard that story. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I
he
have no
said
idea.
that he heard whenever he heard music notes that he saw colors for each note. Also,
I'm just glad that you don't do any hardcore drugs. Thank God. Most people don't live very long if they start to do those
that's
things,
true.
unfortunately. But
That's
actually,
true.
Joni Mitchell was actually supposed to play. Joni Mitchell was actually supposed to play at Woodstock, but then I think she got sick or couldn't make it for some reason, and she wrote a song called Woodstock.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people who couldn't make it. Basically, they couldn't get in. They couldn't get there.
So
They
what
were
is?
flying people in with helicopters, and like
Oh
it was
wow,
just
really helicopters? That's insane, dude. I
yeah.
couldn't
'Cause
imagine being at that
all
show.
the roads, all the roads were blocked up, so it was hard to get any of the musicians that were supposed to be performing in there.
Do you think people actually knew that they were at one of the most historical shows, or do you think it was just another show to them?
I've heard a lot of different things. Because we were up there for the 50th anniversary as well, and we got to meet Michael Lang, who just passed away, but he was the founder of Woodstock, and we were able to meet him. He like did a speech and everything, and some other people that were involved with it. I think they knew it whenever they were there.
How could you not? You're
This
looking
is
out, and
something
Jimi
really
Hendrix is there.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a lot of acts that were like, I mean, not necessarily super well known till kind of, after. Of course, there was a lot that were very well known, but I think a lot of people there realized that there was a monumental special thing happening.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I don't know how you could not see Jimi Hendrix and not know that he's just next level. Was that the
Oh,
show
yeah.
where he played? Was that the show where he played the national anthem?
Um,
I think so.
I can't remember. I always get two of his performances mixed up.
Same.
I think it's Monterey. I'm trying to remember if it was Newport or Monterey and Woodstock, where one of them he set his guitar on fire, and the other one I get mixed up.
Did you ever get to play Warp Tour?
You know what? I was at Warped Tour a lot. For some reason, I never played it. There was a lot of bands that like I was great friends with that played it, and I attended it a lot. But
Did
for
you get to
some
meet
reason,
Kevin Lineman?
I met him before.
What? No
But
way.
there-
What was he like? Is he pretty nice?
oh yeah, he was really nice when I met him. But yeah, for some reason, I'm not sure why. I never had a chance to go to it, or never had
Yeah.
a chance to perform at it.
What were some of your favorite bands that you got to see there? Because the first year I
Oh,
went, one of the first years I went, Katy for some reason Katy Perry was playing there.
yeah, I remember seeing her perform that. I mean, the list of bands that played that is just, I mean, mind blowing.
There's a really amazing
Blew
band
up.
called Old Day Ska Band. They're an all Japanese ska band that I got to see perform there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there were
Did,
so many bands that I learned about, and bands that played and like they blew up after.
yeah.
It's incredible.
Angels and Airwaves, Rancid, No Effects. I actually saw the Color Fred at Warped Tour. I got to see Say Anything, but Max Bemis was sick, and this was before Fred joined the band, so he actually filled in. There was a band called Motion.
Wow.
Have you heard of Motion City Soundtrack?
Oh, absolutely.
They're really
Yeah.
good. They're a really amazing band. What other bands are you friends with that you can plug that you could tell people to check out?
Man, I mean, there's a huge list of groups that we've met over the years, and many bands we're friends with. Just there's so many groups out there. You got to just keep discovering
Yeah,
new groups, and you got to be, a lot of people. There's people out there say like, oh, no good new music, but if
I
you're really
disagree.
out there digging for it, there's so much good music
Yeah.
out there. Comes out all the time.
There's a really amazing band you should check out called Poet the Band. They're really good.
What are they called?
Poet the Band.
Okay, I'll
But
check them out.
they're more like metal. They're pretty metal. So if you don't
Yeah.
like metal music, stray away from it.
I do. I worked for a record label that was a metal label.
Oh wow, what was the most famous band that was signed to them?
Oh my god, they had it was Century Media Records, so
Oh,
they had
okay.
tons of really great bands on that.
Have you heard of
Uh,
Under Oath?
oh, of course, yeah, I love Under
What
Oath.
Under Oath is one of my favorite metal bands. They're just
Great
so
group.
talented, and the way that Aaron Gillespie can play the drums and sing at the
They're
same
a
time,
group
that's
that I saw.
unbelievable.
They're a group that I saw at Warped Tour back in the day.
Oh, you saw them back then? That was like the height of their career when they were first blowing up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. Well, I don't want to hold you for too long, but is there anything else you want to plug before we finish the interview?
We just have 2 new music videos online. Thank you for being here and The Light. And we have a brand new album that's out right now.
How do we listen to your brand new album? We want to listen to it, and I'm going to put it in the description. Is it on Spotify?
It's any streaming service that you listen to, it is on there. It's Spotify, Amazon Music, it's on Napster. It's
It's on
everywhere.
Napster. Is it on LimeWire? Is it on LimeWire?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember LimeWire?
Oh yeah.
There was one famous musician, I can't remember who said it, who was just like, come to our shows because then you can make up for all the music you stole on LimeWire. That's awesome. Well, this has been an interview with the Derek Woods Band. He's been such an awesome person. I can't wait to be able to film his show in person one day. Come to Dallas. Come to Dallas.
We're going to.
We're waiting for you to come to Dallas, and then you can come over and I can cook you some good steak, unless you're a vegetarian.
I am a vegetarian.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm the
I'll
only
take you
one in
to a
the band
vegetarian
that's
place. Though.
vegetarian, so I'm sure
How do you-
everyone else will enjoy it.
How do you remain a vegetarian lifestyle?
Oh, it's a lot of things are universal, and it's just a different lifestyle. I've done it for a really, really long time now.
I forget the name of it, but the drummer from Blink-182 owns a vegetarian restaurant in LA. Have you been to it?
I haven't, no.
When you're in LA, you should go. I'm sure it's super expensive though, so if
I'm
you don't,
going to. I'm gonna look that up. I didn't realize we
yeah.
had one.
Yeah, he was a vegetarian for the longest time, but when he got into his plane crash, he was forced to eat meat, I think, because his body was too weak.
Okay.
Do you remember that when he got into the plane crash?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
It's
he saved his life and he jumped out and he said that he ran back in and he ran back in to try to save people, but it was too late.
yeah. That was just a wild thing to happen, and he lived. It's pretty insane.
Are you a big Blink-182 fan or not really?
Whenever I was first starting playing, they were definitely a group that I enjoyed a lot. I was actually kind of listening to their stuff before they really, came to like the mainstream and everything.
Oh,
Like,
so you were listening to them when Scott was still in the band, the old drummer.
yeah, all that stuff. I was
Dude
very
Ranch.
into. And then
They
they
were
blew up, and
really
I
weird when
liked
they
them
first started.
live. Yeah, I liked them a lot, and then I kind of fell away from it, And I like all their new stuff. Their new stuff's great.
They said that they started as like a motivational speaker band, and they'd go inside high schools and they would say they were motivational speaking. And they wrote a song. They wrote a song which is really weird. It's called Transvestite, and it's about Tom's mom not being a woman anymore. And he said that his sister came home one day and said, "Mom, Tom's singing about transvestites. What's a transvestite?" Which is so ridiculous. Well, this has been
Yeah.
an interview with the Derek Woods Band. I want to be respectful of your time, but hopefully I can come and help you guys film for your next festival. We'll be in touch. God bless, brother, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so
This
much.
this was
It's great.
amazing. Keep up the
you.
good work, brother. You're such a cool, down to earth person. Don't give up, no matter how
Thank
hard
you.
it gets. See you later. And tell your drummer that we'll do a full interview in person sometime when he actually has a good connection.
Sounds great.
Peace, brother. God bless.
Thanks, man.
Come a little bit closer, don't fade, it's not over. Before we lose the light, it's only a moment, just a passing bad omen. Before we lose the light. Throwing rocks into the wind, we become lost and found again. Then we see the light. No one gets out alive. Black is the dark shade of white. Then we see the light.